So good morning friends. Today we are going to discuss on the US presidential election. As the presidential election of US is coming, it will held on the December 2020. So before going to discuss details of the US presidential elections, so I like to describe some constitutional requirements that are essential for a person to become the president of United States. So actually there are three constitutional requirements. Number one is that a person must be a natural born citizens of United States. Number one. Number two, uh, he or she must be a resident of United States for around 14 years. And number third is uh, a person be uh, must be of 35 years old. So these three are the constitutional requirements for a person to become the president of United States. And now I will discuss different process, uh, different steps that are involved in the election of United States, uh, President of United States. Number one step is that primaries and caucuses. Number two is national conventions. Number three, election campaigning. Number four, general election, and number fifth is electoral college. So in US, the president is not directly elected by the common people. Okay, so the common people of US, they first elect the electoral college, and this electoral college ultimately elect the president. So as we know that in the US is they have a federal form of government. It means that all the 50 states, they have different constitutions, as a result of which uh, there are different rules and regulations for each state. And now for each state. Okay, so now I will discuss the step one, that is primaries and caucuses. So the primaries and caucuses are these are elections to elect some delegates. So some states of US, they follow the primaries, and some states they follow caucuses. So these primaries and caucuses are held to elect some delegates, and these delegates will ultimately elect they will elect the presidential candidate, not president but the presidential candidate. So I want to take the example of India. In India, we the people of India directly elect our representatives, that is MP and MLA. That is the first difference between the in elections of India and US. Second difference is that in India, so who will become the uh, prime minister candidate of a particular political party is not determined by the people of India. It is determined by the uh, political party. It is determined by the political party itself. For example, suppose Rahul Gandhi, whether Rahul Gandhi will become the prime minister candidate from Congress, it will be determined by the Congress party itself, not by the people of India. Similarly, whether Narendra Modi will become the prime minister candidate from BJP or not, it will be determined by the BJP party itself. It is not determined by the people of India. So, but in case of USA, who will become the presidential candidate will be determined by the people. Actually, not all the people of United States involved, but there are some restrictions. Only few people, they will uh, participate in this process and to elect the delegates, and these delegates will ultimately elect the presidential candidates. I will discuss it step by step, then everything will be clear. And this is the primary and caucuses. And second is the national conventions. What is national convention? The delegates which are elected by through primaries and caucuses, they will elect the presidential candidates in the national conventions. So in the third steps, after the presidential candidate of each party is elected, in the third step they will participate in campaigning. All the candidate will visit entire states. They they put forward their policies, their future plan, so in order to win the support of the people. Okay, and in the fourth step is the general elections or the popular vote. In these general elections, here all the people, all the eligible common people of United States, they participate in the elections, and they elect, but they do not elect the president. They elect electors. These electors constitute the electoral college, and ultimately this electoral college will elect the president. Hence, in US, uh, the president is elected indirectly. Now I will discuss all the step one by one. First of all, this is what is primaries. As I already mentioned that in some state, there are 50 states in United States. Some states follow primaries election, some state follows caucuses to elect their delegates. So why these primaries and caucuses are held? Primaries and caucuses are actually held to elect the delegates these delegates will ultimately elect the presidential candidate of each political party. So, it means that there are actually main two political parties in the US. One is Republican, and next is Democrats. So uh, in each political party there may be 2 or 3 presidential candidates. So the delegates which are elected through primaries and caucuses, they will finalize the name of the uh, presidential candidate. Okay, so primaries again it can be divided into 3 categories. One is closed primary, semi-closed primary, and open primary. So what is closed primary? In closed primary, only registered members of a party can vote. Okay, in semi-closed primary, not only the registered members but a person who is independent of who is independent of any party, he can also participate in the election. And open primary means anyone can vote. Even a voter who is registered for a particular political party, uh, he can also vote in the primary elections of another party. So that is why it is called open primary. So what is primary election? It is a private voting where people cast their vote in ballot boxes or in AVMs. And some states of US follow primary, and some states of US follow caucuses. Now what is caucuses? So it is public voting where all the people of a particular political party, they physically assemble in the party office and then make groups. Okay, and then they take part in debates, and after debate they select their delegates. Okay, so this is about primaries and the caucuses. After the primary and caucuses, these national conventions are held by each party. So the delegates which are elected through primary and caucuses, they meet in national conventions. In the national conventions, so they finalize the name of the presidential candidate. So the elected delegates cast their vote for a party candidate, and the candidate with the most delegates get the party nominations. Means here the name of the presidential candidate of each party is finalized. And the end of this convention, that is it marks the beginning of the general election process. So from here the actual process to elect the president is started. Okay, so next we will discuss about the general election. So it is also known as popular vote. As I have already mentioned that in the primary and caucuses, all the people of US do not participate, but in general elections or popular vote, all eligible people of US can participate. It is generally held in November, and but this in general elections, people vote not to elect a president, but they vote to elect a group of people known as electors. Okay, and these electors from the electoral college. Okay, and another very interesting thing in the US election is that US presidential election is that suppose a candidate got maximum number of electoral vote, means maximum number of popular vote. Okay, it does not mean that he won the election. Okay, the ultimate decisions will be taken by the electoral vote only. Okay, we can take the example of 2016 election result, where Donald Trump, who got popular vote only 47.30%, and Hillary Clinton got the popular vote of 47.75%. But if you look at the electoral vote, which is done, which is cast by the electoral college, Donald Trump got 306 vote and Hillary Clinton got 232 vote. Hence, Donald Trump, although got the less number of popular vote on the electoral vote. Okay, on the electoral on the election. Okay, now there are total 538 electoral vote. Okay, and out of this 538 electoral vote, and there are total 538 electoral vote. Out of this 538 electoral vote, if a candidate got more than 270 vote, he will win the election. Okay, so now I will discuss about what is electoral college. In US, the president is elected by an institution called electoral college. I have already mentioned that all the 50 states of US, they elect their electors to form the electoral college. Now, as we know that there are 50 states in the United States, and which state will elect how many electors, it is based on the population of the particular state. So for example, this California is the most populated state with around 38 million people. Okay, and it has around 55 electoral votes, which is the largest. Okay, and similarly Montana, it is a state which is where the population is less, and around 1 million people, and it has only 3 electors. Okay, so and I want to explain it in diagram. This is the for the to elect the electors. Okay, the entire 50 states, okay, of United States have different electors. For example, California, which has the largest populations, the population is more, and so it has around 55 electors. And Montana, which is, although it is geographically large, since its population is less, it has only 3 electors. Similarly, 50 states of United States has total 538 electors. Out of this, if a candidate got more than 270 votes in the electoral college, he will win the election, presidential election. Okay, now I will describe the entire process in a very concise way. As I have already mentioned that there are 3 constitutional requirements for a person to become the president of the United States. First of all, he must be a citizen of United States. Second, his age minimum age should be 35 years, and should be US resident for around 14 years. This is the constitutional requirements. Then I will discuss different steps. That is, step 1 is primaries and caucuses. These primaries and caucuses are different forms of elections held by different states. Some states held primary elections, and some states held caucuses, and to elect the delegates. Okay, after these delegates are elected, they meet at the national conventions to finalize the name of the presidential candidates. Okay, so after the national convention is over, the actual process to elect the president is begin. So in the third step is the general elections. So here only in the primaries and caucuses, not all the people of United States can participate, but in the general elections, or it is also known as popular vote, all the eligible people of United States can participate. Okay, but they do not elect the president. They elect the electors, and ultimately these electors form the electoral college. Ultimately this electoral college elect the president of United States. Okay, so total there are 538 electors. Okay, the candidates who got more than the 270 vote will win the election. This is all about the presidential election of United States. Thank you. And if you, I want to ask all of you a questions. If you are interested, you can answer it in the comment sections. So my question is, should India follow the same procedure to elect the to select a prime minister candidate of our country? If yes, give some points, and if no, also give some point. Thank you.